Yes, I slept with my boss, and I don't regret it. My wife smiled after our anniversary dinner. Even our daughter sided with her. My wife had no idea that tomorrow her lover would be arrested, and she would be implicated. The chandeliers were still glittering when I stole a waiter's apron and walked straight toward the stage. My wife's lover, Richard Blackwood, smiled for the room. Emily shone in a red dress, and 200 people lifted their glasses to a lie. I plugged my phone into the sound system and asked one simple question about environmental study. Silence fell. Then Richard's own voice filled the ballroom, clear as ice. The EPA will never know. We will have the condo sold before anyone notices what we did to the lake. Emily's smile snapped. Phones rose. Murmurs swelled. I played the next clip, the one about bribes and fast-track permits. Richard stepped down, rage in his eyes, glass trembling on linen. I told them I had emails, bank records, years of rot. Somewhere inside me, the part that had swallowed humiliation finally stopped. So here I am on our anniversary, sitting in Saloran, the most luxurious restaurant this dying town can offer, watching my wife Emily lean over the white tablecloth with fire in her eyes. Yes, I slept with Richard Sizia, her perfectly manicured fingers gripping her wine glass like a weapon. And I do not regret it, not one damn bit, Jack. Before we dive deeper into the story, I have a small request. Please subscribe, like, and tell me in the comments what city you are watching this from. I take a slow sip of my bourbon, letting the burn settle in my throat before responding. The irony does not escape me. I am a contractor who builds things, and my marriage has just been demolished in barely 30 seconds. Well, darling, I say, keeping my voice steady despite the rage growing in my chest. It is an interesting time because tomorrow's announcement is going to expose more than just your little secret. Emily's face pales under her expensive makeup. She has always been beautiful. That is how she got the job at Pine Real Estate, working for Richard Black, the sleaziest developer on this side of Portlawn. At 42, she still makes people turn their heads to look at her. But right now she looks as if she has seen a ghost. What announcement? She whispers. I lean back in my chair, savoring the moment. Oh, you will see. I have been preparing it for months. She grabs her purse, one of those designer things that cost more than what most people earn in a week, and gets up so fast that her chair almost tips over. You are pathetic, Jack. You always have been. Richard gives me things you never could. Like what, herpes? The couple at the next table stops eating to watch. Emily's face turns red, and for a second I think she might throw her wine at me. Instead, she turns around and storms out, her high heels clacking on the wooden floor like gunshots. Through the window, I see her get into Richard's black BMW. He is waiting in the driver's seat. He has probably been out there the whole time. The bastard has the audacity to wave at me through the glass. I finish my bourbon and ask the waitress for another. Welcome to Millbrook. Population, 3,847 inhabitants and decreasing every year since the paper mill closed. It is the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else's business and secrets spread faster than black mold in a flooded basement. My name is Jack Morrison, and I have lived here my whole life. I grew up in a trailer park on the bad side of town. I worked in construction since I was 16. I built my own company from scratch, Morrison Kington. We fix what is broken, which is practically everything in this city, except the gossip mill. Emily grew up on Elm Street, the fancy part of town where the old factory owners lived. Her father was a banker before the economy crashed, and he never let me forget that I married above my station. For 18 years, I was the working-class husband who embarrassed her at dinner parties, the guy who showed up at charity galas with sawdust under his fingernails. But I loved her. God help me, I really loved her. The first crack in our marriage appeared 3 months ago. I was looking for my gym bag in the closet when I found hers. The zipper was open and a folded piece of paper fell out. At first I thought it was a shopping list or something innocent. It was not. Thanks for last night. You are amazing. I cannot wait to see you again. R. My hand was shaking as I read it. Richard Black, her boss. The same Richard who came to our barbecues, who shook my hand, and called me a friend while he drank my beer and apparently planned to sleep with my wife. I put the note back where I found it, and said nothing. Instead, I started paying attention. Emily working late 3 nights a week. New lingerie she never wore for me. Her phone always face down on the table, constantly vibrating with messages she checked in the bathroom. The final confirmation came 2 weeks ago. Our daughter, Emma, home from college for spring break, left her laptop open on the kitchen table. A text message from Emily appeared. Dad is getting suspicious. We have to be more careful. Emma's response chilled my blood. Maybe if you were not so obvious. Honestly, Mom, everyone knows. Just divorce him already. My own 20-year-old daughter, studying communications at the University of Men, had been covering up her mother's affair. The girl I taught to ride a bike, who used to fall asleep on my chest watching Disney movies, thought I was the villain in this story. That is when I stopped being the good guy. I finish my second bourbon and head to our modest house on Maple Street. It is not much. A 1950s Cape Cod-style house that I have been renovating for 15 years, but it is mine. Every board, every nail, every coat of paint represents hours of my life. Sweat I poured to make something beautiful for my family. The house is dark when I pull into the driveway. Emily's car is not there, which means she is still with Richard, probably at his apartment above the real estate office doing things I do not want to think about. I grab a beer from the fridge and sit in my workshop in the basement. This is my sanctuary. Walls lined with tools I have collected over 25 years. A workbench scarred by 1,000 projects. The smell of wood shavings and motor oil. It is where I come to think, to plan, to build. Tonight, I am planning something different. Not construction, destruction. My phone vibrates. A message from Emily. I am staying at Mom's tonight. We need space. I laugh out loud. Her mother passed away 3 years ago. Emily is staying at Richard's and does not even have the creativity to come up with a decent lie. I reply, give my regards to your mother's ghost. 3 dots appear, then disappear. She has nothing to say. I open my laptop and pull up the folder I have been building for 2 months. Photos, documents, recordings, everything I need to burn their little fantasy world to the ground. Because this is what happens in small towns. Reputation is everything, and I am about to destroy theirs. Richard Blackwood thinks he is untouchable. At 45, he is the biggest real estate developer in 3 counties. He drives a BMW, wears $1,000 suits and treats everyone like they should be grateful for his attention. He has never worked with his hands, never built anything that mattered, never earned an honest dollar in his life. But he has something I do not have. Money, status, and apparently my wife. He had my wife. Past tense. I take another sip of beer and start typing. The first email goes to the State Real Estate Commission. Subject, ethics violation. Richard Blackwood. Pine Real Estate. The second goes to the Millbrook Jesset. Our local newspaper is basically gossip with a letterhead, but they love a good scandal. The third goes to Emma. It is time for my daughter to know the truth about her precious mother. But first I need to pay Richard a visit. I grab my keys and head out into the midnight. It is April, but there is still a biting chill. The kind of cold that gets into your bones and stays there. The perfect weather for what I have in mind. Richard's apartment is above his office on Moss Street, in one of the few buildings that has not yet fallen apart. His BMW is parked out front like a neon sign announcing his presence. I park across the street and wait. Through the second-floor window, I can see shadows moving. Emily's silhouette is unmistakable even from here. They are not even trying to hide it anymore. I open the hood of my truck and grab the tool bag I keep for emergencies. Sugar, sand, a few other household items that can turn a luxury car into an expensive paperweight. I learned these tricks in high school from Tommy Raichi, who used to hang out with the wrong crowd before settling down and opening the boxing gym. Speaking of Tommy, I should probably call him. I'm going to need someone on my side for what is coming. The BMW's hood is not locked. Rich people never think anyone would dare mess with their stuff. I work quickly, efficiently, as if I were installing a faucet or wiring a ceiling fan. Sugar in the gas tank is for amateurs. What I am doing is much more creative and much harder to trace. I am finishing up when I hear footsteps on the stairs inside the building. I close the hood and slide back into my truck, my heart pounding like I am 16 again and toilet papering the principal's house. The front door opens, and Emily appears. She is wearing a silk robe that is definitely not hers. Too big, too masculine. Richard follows her, wearing only boxers and a smug smile. They are putting on a show. I realize this is not about passion or love. It is about humiliation. They want me to see this. Emily looks directly at me from across the street. Even in the dim streetlight, I can see her smile. It is cold, calculated, the expression of someone who thinks they have already won. Richard waves again, the same little gesture he gave me at the restaurant, as if he were dismissing a servant. That is when I notice the security camera mounted above the door. The red light is blinking, which means it is recording. They are documenting this moment, probably planning to use it against me in some way. Fine, let them have their little victory lap. Tomorrow the Real game begins. I start my truck and drive away, leaving them standing there in their underwear, like the cheap, pathetic people they have become. In my rearview mirror, I see Emily throw her head back and laugh. She will not be laughing for long. The next morning begins with a call from Emma. I am in the kitchen having coffee and reading the newspaper as if it were any other day when her name appears on my screen. Dad. Her voice is shaky, unsure. We need to talk. Good morning to you too, sweetie. No, just do not do it. Mom told me what happened last night. About the restaurant. I lean back in my chair, savoring the moment. And what exactly did she tell you? That you threatened her, that you have been following her around town, making her life impossible. Interesting story. Did she mention the part where she has been sleeping with her boss for the last 6 months? Silence on the other end, then in a low voice. Dad, please, this is hard enough already. Hard for whom, Emma? For you? For your mother? What about me? What about the guy who has been paying your college tuition while his wife spreads her legs for every rich jerk in town? God, you are disgusting. No, sweetie, I am honest. There is a difference. She hangs up on me. I am not surprised. Emma has always been more like her mother than she likes to admit. Image over substance, feelings over facts, always looking for the easy way out. I finish my coffee and go to work. Morrison Contracting has 3 jobs going this week. A kitchen renovation on Penn Street, a deck replacement for the Hendersons, and a bathroom remodel for old Mrs. Patterson. Honest work that builds calluses and character. My crew is already at the Pine Street house when I arrive. Danny Kowalski and Mike Santos, two guys I have worked with for over a decade. They are good men. They show up on time, work hard, and do not ask too many questions when the boss is having a bad day. Morning, Jack, Danny says without looking up from the cabinet he is installing. You look terrible. I feel worse. Emily and I had some words last night. My Silva went down. That explains why she was at the coffee shop this morning with Mr. BMW. I freeze. What? Yeah, I saw them at Rosie's around 7, putting on a real show. If you know what I mean. Hands all over each other, whispering like teenagers. Danny finally looks up. Bleep. Mike read the room. It is okay. I say, even though it is not. Now they are flaunting it, making sure the whole town knows. This is not just an affair anymore. It is psychological warfare. Let us get back to work. But I cannot concentrate. Every time I try to focus on measurements or materials, I see Emily's face from last night. That cold smile. The way she looked at me like I was something she had scraped off her shoe. By lunchtime, the whole crew knows something is wrong. I have measured the same piece of trim 4 times and still cannot get it right. My hands are shaking and it is not from the caffeine. Boss, Danny says, pulling me aside. Why do you not take the afternoon off? We have got this. I am fine. No, you are not. And that is okay. But maybe you should talk to someone. Tommy. Maybe. Tommy Ritchie. My best friend since high school, owner of the Millbrook Boxing Gym, the only place in town where you can still settle things the old-fashioned way. He is also an ex-cop who knows where all the bodies are buried, metaphorically speaking. I leave the crew to finish the cabinets and drive to the other side of town to the gym. It is in an old warehouse near the defunct factory, the kind of place that smells of sweat, dreams, and disappointment. Perfect for my current mood. Tommy is in the ring with a kid who cannot be more than 16, teaching him how to throw a proper jab. He is 50 now, gray at the temples, but he still has the body of the linebacker he was in high school. Jack, he shouts when he sees me. Hold on a minute. He finishes with the kid and steps out of the ring, grabbing a towel to wipe his face. You look terrible, man. What is wrong? I tell him everything. The affair, the humiliation, Emily's performance last night. Tommy listens without interrupting, nodding at the right moments. His cop instincts are still sharp after 15 years. So what is your play? He asks when I am done. I want to hurt them both. Make them pay for what they have done. Legally, right? Of course. Tommy smiles. Good, because I might have some ideas. He takes me to his office, a cluttered space filled with boxing memorabilia and old police reports he uses for consulting work. He opens a file cabinet and pulls out a thick folder. Richard Blackwad, he says, dropping it on the desk. I have been keeping an eye on this guy for years. He is as dirty as they come. I open the folder and start reading. Building permits that were fast-tracked without proper inspections. Zoning variances that should not have been approved. A pattern of kickbacks and illegal commissions that would make a Chicago alderman blush. This is gold, Tommy. How? I still have friends on the force, and Richard has made a lot of enemies over the years. People talk. Can we use this? Not directly, but it gives us leverage. And there is more. He pulls out another folder. This one labeled Emily Morrison, my wife's maiden name. Tommy, what the bleep? Relax, it is all public record. Credit reports, employment history, that kind of thing. Did you know she lied on her real estate license application? I look at the documents. Emily claimed to have a business degree from the University of Men. According to these records, she never graduated. She was 3 credits short. She dropped out to marry me and never went back. She has been living a lie for 20 years, I whisper. It gets better. Look at page 4. Page 4 is a credit report showing massive debt I never knew about. Credit cards in her maiden name, personal loans, even a second mortgage on the house I thought we owned free and clear. She has been bleeding us dry, I say. And guess who co-signed most of these loans? I turn to the signature page and see Richard Blackward's name. He has been financing my wife's spending habits, probably in exchange for services rendered. I am going to destroy them, I say. Easy, Tiger. We will do this smart, legal, and we will do it in a way they will not see coming. Tommy is right. I have been thinking like a hurt husband when I should be thinking like a businessman. This is not about emotions. It is about strategy. We spend the next 2 hours planning. Tommy has contacts at the State Real Estate Commission, the Better Business Bureau, even the IRS. Richard's empire is built on quicksand, and we are about to cause an earthquake. And what about Emily? I ask. Leave her to me. I know a private investigator who specializes in adultery cases. By the time we are done, she will not be able to get a job selling used cars in Bangor. I am starting to feel better when my phone vibrates. A message from an unknown number. Check your Facebook. I open the app and immediately wish I had not. Emma has posted a long status update with pictures from our family vacation last summer. The caption makes my blood boil. Sometimes the people we love the most are the ones who hurt us the most. My father is going through a tough time, and he is taking it out on everyone around him. Please keep our family in your thoughts as we navigate this challenging period. Family first, love wins. The comments are already pouring in. Friends and neighbors offering support, asking what happened, speculating about our private affairs. Emma has turned our divorce into a social media circus and painted me as the villain. That little witch, I muttered. Tommy reads over my shoulder and whistles. Your daughter has some serious manipulation skills. I wonder where she learned them. From her mother. You have to respond to this. Control the narrative before it gets away from you. He is right. In small towns, perception is reality. If I let Emma's version of events stand, I will be the crazy husband who could not handle his wife's success. I start typing a response, then delete it, then type another and delete that too. Anything I say will sound defensive, desperate. I need something bigger, more dramatic. I have an idea, I tell Tommy. But I am going to need your help. What kind of help? The kind that could get us both in trouble. Tommy smiles. Now you are speaking my language. That night I drive to the Iron Horse Bar, the main dive in Millbrook. It is the kind of place where the beer is cheap, the music is loud, and everyone minds their own business. Perfect for what I have in mind. Richard is already there when I arrive, holding court at a corner table with 3 of his real estate buddies. Emily sits beside him, laughing at something one of the other men said. She is wearing a tight dress I have never seen before, probably bought with Richard's money. I order a beer and sit at the bar, close enough to hear their conversation, but far enough to avoid an immediate confrontation. They are talking about a new development project, some luxury condos they want to build on the lake. The permits are all set, Richard says. We should break ground by summer. What about the environmental impact study? One of his friends asks. Richard waves a dismissive hand. It is taken care of. I know people. Of course he knows people. Richard always knows people. That is how he has gotten away with cutting corners for so long. I am on my second beer when Emily spots me. She whispers something to Richard, and they both look in my direction. Richard's face hardens, but Emily just smiles, that same cold smile from last night. They are trying to provoke me, hoping I will make a scene so they can play the victims. Instead, I raise my beer in a mock toast and turn back to the bar. Jack Morrison, a voice says behind me. Fancy meeting you here. I turn around and see Detective Ray Castellano, Tommy's old partner from the state police. He is off duty, in jeans and a flannel shirt, but cops are never really off duty. Ray, how is retirement treating you? Cannot complain, though I hear you are having some domestic troubles. News travels fast in small towns. Nothing I cannot handle. Glad to hear it, because it would be a shame if things got messy. He is warning me, probably at Tommy's request. Tommy wants to make sure I do not do anything stupid that could ruin our carefully laid plans. Do not worry, I tell him. I am a model citizen. Glad to hear it. Enjoy your night. He heads to the back of the bar, but I know he is still watching, which is fine. I want witnesses for what is about to happen. I finish my beer and walk over to Richard's table. The conversation stops as I approach, and I can feel the tension in the room jump up several notches. Good evening, folks, I say pleasantly. Mind if I join you? Actually, we do mind, Richard says. This is a private conversation. Oh, I'm sure it is. Talking about those luxury condos, are we? The ones with the fast-track permits. Richard's face pales. I do not know what you were talking about. Sure you do. The Lakeside Development Project. The funny thing about those environmental impact studies is they are public record. Anyone can request copies. I pull out my phone and show him a screenshot of an email I sent earlier. I already filed my request. This afternoon. Should make for some interesting reading. Emily grabs Richard's arm. Let us go. No, wait, Richard says, standing up. He is bigger than me. Probably has 30 pounds on me, but I can see the fear in his eyes. What do you want? I do not want anything you can give me. You already took what mattered most. Look, Jack, I know this is hard. Hard. I laugh loud enough for the whole bar to hear. No, Richard. Hard is working 16-hour days to build something from nothing. Hard is staying faithful to someone who does not deserve it. What you did was easy. That was just being a piece of bleep. Go to bleep. Emily hisses, getting up so fast her chair tips over. You bleeping hypocrite. You think you are so much better than everyone else, but you are just a loser who never amounted to anything. The whole bar has gone silent. Everyone is watching, waiting to see what happens next. This is the moment that will define the rest of this war. How I handle my wife's attempt at public humiliation. I smile and pull out my phone again. You know what, Emily? You are absolutely right. I am a loser, but at least I am not a cuckold. I tap the screen, and suddenly the bar's sound system comes to life. A familiar voice fills the room. Emily's voice, breathy and desperate. Oh God. Richard, yes, right there. Do not stop. I love you so much more than him. The recording is crystal clear, obviously taken during one of their trysts. Emily's face goes white as she realizes what is happening. Richard lunges for my phone, but I am already backing away. How? Emily starts. Your phone automatically backs up to our shared cloud account, honey. It has for years. It is amazing what people record these days. The bar erupts in whispers and laughter. Emily is crying now, mascara running down her cheeks in black tears. Richard looks like he wants to kill me, but he is smart enough to know that any violence will only make things worse. Bastard, Emily whispers. No, sweetie, that would be Richard's kid when his wife finds out about this. Oh wait, did I mention I already sent copies to Linda Blackwood along with some very interesting pictures? Richard's face goes from red to purple. You son of a bitch. Probably, but I am not the one who is about to lose everything. I pocket my phone and head for the door, leaving them standing there in the wreckage of their reputations. Behind me, I hear Emily sobbing and Richard cursing, but I do not look back. Outside, Tommy is waiting by my truck, grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. How did you get the recording? He asks. I did not. But they do not know that. You magnificent bastard. It was all a bluff. The greatest of all time. Now they will spend the next week wondering what else I might have. We are laughing when my phone vibrates. A message from Emma. What the bleep is wrong with you? I show the message to Tommy. He shakes his head. Your daughter has a lot of growing up to do. She is about to get a crash course. I reply to Emma. Ask your mother. She is the expert on what is wrong. 3 dots appear, then disappear. Emma has nothing to say to that. Tommy claps me on the shoulder. This is just the beginning, you know. They're going to come after you with everything they have got. Let them try. I have nothing left to lose. But even as I say it, I know it is not true. I still have my business, my reputation, my self-respect, and I am about to put it all on the line for revenge. The war has officially begun. The fallout from the incident at the bar comes faster than I expected. By morning, half the town has heard some version of what happened, and my phone will not stop ringing. The first call is from Danny at 6 a.m. Boss, you have to see the paper. The Millbrook Gazette has never been accused of quality journalism, but this time they have outdone themselves. The front page headline reads, Local Contractors Public Meltdown, with a picture of me from the Chamber of Commerce dinner last year. The article, written by Jennifer Walsh, a friend of Emily's from her book club, paints me as an unstable husband who publicly humiliated his wife over alleged marital problems. There is no mention of the affair or context for my actions, just a one-sided hit piece designed to make me look like a monster. They want a monster? I say to my empty kitchen. I will give them Godzilla. The second call is from Mrs. Patterson, the sweet old lady whose bathroom I am supposed to be renovating this week. Jack, dear, she says in her trembling voice, I am afraid we have to postpone the bathroom project. My daughter thinks it would be best to wait until things calm down. Translation, your reputation is toxic and we do not want to be associated with you. The third call is from the bank. Apparently, Emily has been busy this morning, trying to freeze our joint accounts and claiming I am mentally unstable. They cannot do anything without both signatures, but they are concerned about the situation and want to schedule a meeting. By noon I have lost 2 jobs and earned a reputation as the crazy husband who cannot handle his wife leaving him. Emily and Richard are winning the PR war, and I am starting to understand why Tommy warned me about playing dirty. I am sitting in my workshop, staring at the wall, and drinking my 4th beer of the day when Emma shows up. She does not knock, just walks in through the kitchen door like she still lives here. Dad, we need to talk. She looks terrible. Her eyes are red from crying. Her usually perfect hair is a mess. And she is wearing the same clothes as yesterday. College has made her soft. She is not prepared for this kind of family warfare. What is there to talk about, Emma? You made your position pretty clear on Facebook. I was trying to protect Mom. From what? The consequences of her actions. Emma sits down across from me, and for a moment, she looks like the little girl who used to help me with woodworking projects in this very basement. She loves him. Dad, she really loves him. More than she ever loved you. The words hurt more than I expected, and that justifies it. 18 years of marriage and she can throw it all away because she found someone with a bigger bank account. It is not about the money. Bleep, it is always about the money with your mother. Check her credit cards if you do not believe me. Check the second mortgage she took out on this house without telling me. Emma's face pales. What second mortgage? I pull out the documents Tommy gave me and slide them across the workbench. Emma reads in silence, her expression shifting from confusion to horror. She owes $80,000, she whispers. That is just the beginning. Your mother has been living a double life for years and Richard has been financing it. Your college tuition. That is not coming from my construction business, honey. It is coming from your mother's sugar daddy. Emma starts crying again, but these are different tears. They are the tears of someone whose worldview has just collapsed. I did not know, she says. Of course you did not know, because your mother is very good at playing the victim. She always has been. What are you going to do? Whatever it takes. Emma looks at me and I see something new in her eyes. Fear. Dad, please, do not do anything crazy. I cannot lose both my parents. You will not lose me, Emma, but you might want to brace yourself for some hard truths about your mother. After Emma leaves, I call Tommy. We meet at the gym after hours, when it is just us, the punching bags, and the smell of honest sweat. They are playing for keeps, I tell him. Emily is trying to freeze the bank accounts and Richard has his media friends painting me as an unstable husband. To be expected, rich people always try to control the narrative. So what is our next move? Tommy smiles and pulls out another folder. Remember that private investigator I mentioned? Well, he has been busy. The photos are damning. Emily and Richard at a hotel in Portland, entering and exiting at different times, but clearly together. Richard paying for expensive dinners, jewelry, even a weekend trip to Boston. But the real gold is in the financial records. He has been embezzling from his own company, Tommy explains, siphoning money from development projects and funneling it through shell companies. Your wife has been helping him launder the money through fake real estate transactions. She is a criminal. They both are. The question is, what do you want to do about it? I study the documents, feeling a cold satisfaction settle in my chest. This is not just about adultery anymore. It is about fraud, embezzlement, maybe even tax evasion. The kind of crimes that destroy lives and end careers. I want to burn it all down. Jack, think this through. Once we cross this line, there is no going back. Emma could get caught in the crossfire. Emma made her choice when she posted that status on Facebook. She chose her mother over the truth. Tommy nods slowly. All right, but we do it smart. No emotional outbursts, no public scenes. We let the evidence speak for itself. We spend the next 3 hours planning. Tommy will pass the financial information to his contacts in the FBI's white-collar crime unit. I will handle the local angle, making sure everyone in Millbrook knows exactly what kind of people Emily and Richard are. The first stop is Richard's apartment. It is 2 a.m. when I arrive, and the building is dark, except for the security light over the entrance. I have brought tools, but not the kind I usually use for construction. The BMW is parked in its usual spot, gleaming under the streetlight like a beacon of privilege. I pop the hood and get to work, but this time I am not just disabling the engine, I am sending a message. 20 minutes later, I step back to admire my handiwork. The car looks normal from the outside, but Richard is in for some interesting surprises when he tries to drive it tomorrow. Sugar in the gas tank is just the beginning. I have also loosened the oil drain plug, disconnected the brake lights, and left a few choice words scratched into the paint where he will not see them until he is at the car wash. But the real masterpiece is what I have done to his apartment. The building's security is a joke, a simple lock that any contractor knows how to bypass. Richard's place is exactly what I expected. Expensive furniture, abstract art, a wine collection that probably costs more than most people's cars. I do not steal anything. That would be too simple. Instead, I rearrange things. I move his furniture 6 inches to the left. I swap the contents of his dresser drawers. I replace his expensive wine with cheap bottles from the grocery store. I change the settings on his shower so the water comes out scalding hot. But the piece de resistance is in his bedroom. I find the silk sheets, the ones Emily mentioned, the ones she said were so much softer than our cotton sheets at home. I carefully remove them, take them to the bathroom, and use them to clean the toilet. Then I put them back on the bed, perfectly made, with hospital corners and everything. Richard will never be able to prove I was here, but he will know. Every time he lies down on those sheets, he will think about where they have been. I am leaving through the back exit when I hear voices in the alley. Emily and Richard returning from whatever late-night adventure they have been on. I duck behind a dumpster and listen. I cannot believe he humiliated me like that, Emily says, in front of everyone. Do not worry, babe. We will make him pay for what he did. How? I have got contacts, people who can make his life very difficult. His business license, his contractor permits, even his insurance. By the time I am done with him, Jack Morrison will not be able to get a job cleaning toilets. They disappear into the building, and I slip away into the night. But Richard's words are ringing in my head. He plans to destroy my business, the one thing I have built with my own hands. That crosses a line I did not even know existed. The next morning brings chaos. Richard's BMW will not start, and when the tow truck arrives, the driver discovers the oil leak he thinks. Richard yells at the mechanic, demanding to know how this could have happened, when someone points out the scratches in the paint. I watch from across the street, sipping coffee from a thermos, as Richard reads my message, home wrecker, carved in sharp, capital letters along the passenger door. His face turns purple with rage. He looks around wildly, probably hoping to see me, but I am well hidden behind a delivery truck. Emily comes running out of the building in a robe, and they have a heated argument right there on Main Street. This is better than cable television. But the real show begins when Richard goes back upstairs to shower before work. I can hear his shouts of frustration all the way from the street as he discovers my interior decorating, the scalding water, the rearranged furniture, the wine collection that is now worth about $30 instead of $3,000. By noon, the whole town is talking about Richard's run of bad luck. Car trouble, plumbing issues, even rumors that someone broke into his apartment. The police take a report, but there is no evidence of forced entry, just a series of unfortunate coincidences. I'm feeling pretty good about myself when Tommy calls with bad news. Richard made some calls this morning. Your contractor's license is under review and the state has opened an investigation into your business practices. What business practices? I run a clean business. It does not matter. He has friends in the licensing department, and they are looking for any excuse to shut you down. Missed inspections, permit violations, customer complaints, anything they can use. My good mood evaporates. Richard is fighting back, using his connections to attack my livelihood. This is exactly what I was afraid of. He has resources I cannot match, influence I cannot compete with. How long do I have? Maybe a week before they suspend your license pending investigation. After that, you are out of business until you are cleared, which could take months. Bastard. It gets worse. Emily filed for a restraining order this morning. She claims you have been harassing her, following her around town, making threats. That is bleep. It does not matter if it is true. The judge signed it based on her testimony and the incident at the Iron Horse. You cannot go within 100 yards of her or Richard. I feel the walls closing in. They are using the legal system against me, turning my own actions into weapons. Every move I have made, every small victory I have achieved, is being twisted into proof of my instability. What about the financial crimes, the embezzlement evidence? The FBI is interested, but these things take time, months, maybe years. In the meantime, they are destroying you right now. I hang up and sit in my truck, looking at the construction site where my crew is working without me. Danny and Mike are good men, but they cannot run the business if I lose my license. 25 years of building something from nothing, and it could all be gone because I fell in love with the wrong woman. That is when I realize I have been thinking about all this the wrong way. I have been playing defense, reacting to their moves instead of making my own. But Emily and Richard made one crucial mistake. They underestimated how far I am willing to go. They want to destroy my business. Fine, but I will make sure they go down with me. I pull out my phone and call the one person who can help me end this war. Richard's ex-wife, Linda. Mrs. Blackwood, this is Jack Morrison. I think it is time we had a conversation. The game is about to change. Linda Blackwood agrees to meet me at a coffee shop in the next town over, far from the Millbrook Gossip Network. She is nothing like I expected. Mid-40s, attractive in an understated way, dressed in jeans and a sweater instead of the designer clothes I associated with Richard's world. I was wondering when you would call, she says, sliding into the booth across from me. I heard what happened at the Iron Horse. News travels fast, especially when it involves my ex-husband making a fool of himself in public. She stirs her coffee thoughtfully. Richard always liked to have an audience for his conquests. How long were you married? 15 years. We divorced 2 years ago when I caught him with his secretary. Your wife is not his first affair, Jack. She is just the latest. That hurts more than I expected. I thought Emily was special, that Richard saw something in her worth destroying his marriage for. Turns out she is just another notch on his belt. I am sorry, Linda says, reading my expression. I know it hurts, but you have to understand what kind of man you are dealing with. Richard does not love your wife. He loves the thrill of taking something that belongs to someone else. What do you know about his business practices? Linda's expression hardens. You mean the embezzlement, the shell companies, the bribes to city officials? I know a lot. I was married to him, remember? I saw the books, I heard the phone calls. I watched him buy his way out of trouble for more than a decade. Why did you not report him? I tried. I filed complaints with the state attorney general, the FBI, even the IRS. But Richard has friends in high places, and I was just a bitter ex-wife trying to make trouble. No one took me seriously. They might take me seriously, especially if I have proof. Linda reaches into her purse and pulls out a USB drive. It is all here. Bank records, email correspondence, recorded phone calls. Enough to put him in prison for 10 years if the right people see it. Why are you helping me? Because Richard destroyed my life, and now he is trying to destroy yours. Because I am tired of watching him hurt people and get away with it. She pauses, then adds in a low voice. And because I know what it is like to lose everything to someone who does not deserve it. I take the USB drive, feeling its weight in my palm. This is the nuclear option. With this evidence, I can end Richard's career, destroy his reputation, maybe even send him to prison. And Emily? I asked, what about her? She made her choice. If she goes down with Richard, that is her problem. Linda is right, but it is still hard to accept. Despite everything Emily has done, a part of me still loves the woman I married 18 years ago. The woman who laughed at my jokes, who cried when we lost our first baby, who held my hand at my father's funeral. But that woman is gone, replaced by someone I do not recognize. Someone who can look me in the eye and lie without flinching, who can turn my own daughter against me, who can destroy everything we built together for a few months of excitement with a rich jerk. There is something else, Linda says. Richard is planning something big for this weekend, some kind of public event where he is going to announce his engagement to Emily. My blood runs cold. Engagement. Saturday night at the Lakeside Country Club. He has invited half the town, including all his business contacts and political friends. He wants to make it clear that he has won, that you are yesterday's news. The bastard also plans to use the event to announce his biggest development project to date. Those luxury condos on the lake. He has got the permits fast-tracked, the environmental studies faked, and the city council bought and paid for. It is going to make him millions. I look at the USB drive. The realization dawns. Richard is not just stealing my wife. He is using our divorce as a distraction while he pulls off the biggest scam of his career. When is the announcement? Saturday at 8 p.m., black tie event. Very exclusive, the kind of event where reputations are made and broken. I need to be there, Jack. That is a terrible idea. Richard will have security, and you have a restraining order. I will find a way. Linda studies my face, seeing something that makes her nod slowly. You are not just going to expose the financial crimes, are you? You are planning something bigger. Richard wants to make a statement. Fine. I will make sure it is one no one ever forgets. We part ways in the parking lot, but not before Linda gives me one last piece of advice. Be careful, Jack. Richard is dangerous when he is cornered. He has ruined people for less than what you are planning. So have I. That afternoon, I call an emergency meeting with my crew. Danny and Mike show up at the workshop looking worried. The news about the license investigation has gotten around, and they are afraid for their jobs. Guys, I tell them, I am going to be straight with you. My contractor's license could be suspended next week. If that happens, Morrison Contracting is finished. Danny curses under his breath. Mike just stares at his boots. But I continue. I am not going down without a fight, and I need your help. I explain the situation. Not everything, but enough. The affair, the financial crimes, Richard's plan to destroy my business. By the time I am done, both men are furious. That bastard, Danny says. After everything you have done for this town, all the jobs you have created, the families you have helped. What do you need us to do? Mike asks. I need alibis for Saturday night, and I need you both to forget we ever had this conversation. They exchange glances, then Danny smiles. What conversation? Saturday arrives with an unseasonable warmth for April and men. The perfect weather for the kind of outdoor event Richard has planned at the country club. I spend the day making final preparations, checking and rechecking every detail. The Lakeside Country Club sits on 50 acres of prime real estate overlooking Mirror Lake. It is where the elite of Millbrook gather to congratulate themselves on their success and plan their next conquest. I have never been inside. Contractors do not get invited to these kinds of parties, but tonight is different. Tonight, I am not going as a guest. I park my truck in the woods behind the clubhouse and change into the black clothes I brought. Security is light. A couple of hired guards at the main entrance, more for show than for real protection. Rich people never expect anyone to challenge them on their own turf. The kitchen entrance is unguarded, probably because the catering staff has been coming and going all day. I slip in during a busy moment, grab an apron and a tray, and suddenly, I am invisible. Just another waiter in a room full of people who never look at the help. The main ballroom is spectacular. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths, enough flowers to supply a funeral home. About 200 guests in tuxedos and evening gowns, sipping champagne and pretending to enjoy each other's company. I spot Emily immediately. She is wearing a red dress I have never seen before. It probably costs more than most people make in a month. She is beaming, glowing, with the kind of happiness I have not seen in years. It should make me jealous, but instead it just makes me angry. She was never this happy with me. Richard is at her side, working the room like a politician, shaking hands, telling jokes, playing the part of the successful businessman and devoted fiancé. He is good at it. I have to give him that. I move through the crowd, serving drinks and listening to conversations. The talk is all about money, real estate deals, stock portfolios, vacation homes in Florida. These people live in a different world than the rest of us, insulated from consequences by their wealth and connections. At 8 o'clock, Richard takes the stage. The room falls silent as he adjusts the microphone and flashes his politician smile. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. As many of you know, this has been a year of significant changes in my personal life. Polite laughter from the audience. A few people glance in my direction, but the waiter's uniform makes me invisible. I am thrilled to announce my engagement to an extraordinary woman, Emily Morrison. Applause, as Emily joins him on stage. She is crying happy tears, and for a moment, I remember why I fell in love with her all those years ago. But that is not the only exciting news I have to share tonight, Richard continues. I am also pleased to announce the groundbreaking of the Lakeside Residences, the most ambitious development project in the history of our region. He clicks a remote and a projection screen descends behind him. Artist renderings of luxury condos with a marina, golf course, and spa. 200 units starting at $500,000 with construction scheduled to begin next month. This project represents a $30 million investment in the future of our community. More applause. Richard is beaming, Emily is glowing, and everyone in the room is calculating how much money they can make on this deal. That is when I step forward. Excuse me, I say, loud enough for everyone to hear. I have a question about those environmental impact studies. The room falls silent. Richard's smile falters as he spots me in the crowd. Emily's face goes white. Security, Richard shouts, but I am already moving towards the stage. You see, the thing about environmental studies, I continue, pulling out my phone and plugging it into the room's sound system, is that they are supposed to be accurate, not fabricated to cover up the destruction of wetlands and endangered species habitats. Get him out of here, Richard screams. But the hired guards are too far away and the crowd is too dense. I tap my phone screen and suddenly the room is filled with the sound of Richard's voice. The EPA will never know. We will have the condos built and sold before they even realize what we have done to the lake. It is one of the recordings Linda gave me, crystal clear and obviously damning. The crowd starts to murmur. A few people pull out their own phones to record what is happening. That is not all, I announce. Let us talk about those fast-track permits. It is amazing what you can get away with when you bribe city officials. Another recording plays, this time with Richard discussing payments to the zoning board. The murmuring gets louder, more agitated. Emily tries to grab the microphone from Richard, but he pushes her away. This is all fake. This man is mentally unstable. Am I? I pull out the USB drive Linda gave me and hold it up. Because I have bank records, email correspondence, and recorded phone calls that say otherwise. 2 years of evidence proving embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy. That is when Richard snaps. He leaps off the stage and charges at me, his face purple with rage. I will destroy you. The crowd parts as he lunges, but I am ready for him. 25 years of construction work has kept me in good shape, and Richard has spent too many years behind a desk. When he throws a punch, I easily sidestep it and let his momentum carry him into a table full of champagne glasses. The crash is spectacular. Glass shatters, champagne sprays everywhere, and Richard goes down hard in a puddle of expensive booze and broken crystal. Richard, Emily screams, rushing to his side, but he is not seriously hurt, just humiliated and soaked. Ladies and gentlemen, I announce, stepping onto the stage and grabbing the microphone. I would like to introduce you to the real Richard Blackwood, embezzler, fraudster, and homewrecker. The man who has been stealing from his own company to finance his affairs. The crowd is in chaos now. Some people are trying to leave, others are recording everything on their phones, and a few are even applauding. The hired guards finally arrive, but they are not sure what to do. Technically, I have not broken any laws. This is all lies. Richard screams from the floor, but no one is listening to him anymore. They are too busy watching the show. Oh, and Emily, I say, spotting my wife in the crowd. I have something for you too. I play another recording, this time of Emily's voice. He is just such a pathetic loser. I cannot believe I wasted 18 years of my life with him. The intimacy is terrible, he has no ambition, and he embarrasses me in front of my friends. Emily's face crumbles as her own words echo through the ballroom. Several people gasp, and I can see phones being raised to capture her reaction. You took that out of context, she stammers. Did I? Because there is more where that came from. Hours of recordings. In fact, it is amazing what people say when they think no one is listening. The police arrive just as I am finishing my presentation. Detective Ray Castellano leads the charge, looking like he would rather be anywhere else in the world. Jack Morrison, he says wearily, you are under arrest for trespassing, disturbing the peace, and violating a restraining order. I do not resist as my wife. I have accomplished what I came here to do. Richard's reputation is destroyed. Emily is exposed as a gold-digging adulteress, and everyone in Millbrook's power structure knows exactly what kind of people they have been associating with. As Ray leads me towards the exit, I see Emma in the crowd. She has been recording everything on her phone, but now she is just staring at me with an expression I cannot read. Disappointment, admiration, fear. Dad, she yells as I walk past her. Was it worth it? I stop and look back at the chaos I have created. Richard is still on the floor, covered in champagne and broken glass. Emily is crying hysterically, her red dress stained and her perfect hair a mess. Half the crowd is fleeing for the exits, while the other half is busy uploading videos to social media. Ask me in a week, I tell Emma. When the FBI is done with that USB drive. Dave chuckles despite himself. You magnificent bastard. You really did it. I told you I was going to burn it all down. As we walk out of the country club, I can hear the chaos continuing behind us. Voices yelling, glass breaking, the sound of a world collapsing. Tomorrow Richard and Emily will try to rebuild their lives from the ashes of tonight's disaster, but they will never recover from this. Not in a town like Millbrook, where reputation is everything and forgiveness is rare. I have lost my marriage, alienated my daughter, and probably destroyed my business. But I have also exposed 2 criminals, saved the lake from environmental destruction, and given this town something to talk about for the next 20 years. As Ray helps me into the back of his police car, I smile for the first time in months. Sometimes winning means losing everything else. The Millbrook jail is not much. 3 cells in the basement of the police station, mostly used for drunk drivers and domestic disturbance calls. I spend Saturday night in cell number 2, listening to the sounds of the town above me slowly returning to normal. Day brings me coffee and a sandwich around midnight, along with news from the outside world. Your little performance tonight has gone viral, he tells me. Someone uploaded the whole thing to YouTube, and it already has 50,000 views. Good. The more people see it, the better. The FBI is interested in that USB drive you mentioned. They will want to talk to you first thing Monday morning. I will be here. Day sits on the bench across from my cell. You know, in 30 years of police work, I have never seen anyone so thoroughly destroy their own life for revenge. Sometimes destruction is necessary. You cannot build something new until you tear down what is rotten. And what are you planning to build, Jack? I lean against the cell wall and consider the question. For months, I have been focused on tearing down Richard and Emily's world, but I have not given much thought to what comes next. I do not know yet. Maybe that is the point. Sunday passes slowly. Day allows me to have visitors, but the only person who shows up is Tommy. He brings Chinese takeout and a bottle of bourbon that he shares with the on-duty officers. Are you crazy? He says, grinning from ear to ear. That was the greatest thing I have ever seen. Richard is finished. His business partners are already distancing themselves, and the town council has called an emergency meeting to review all his permits. And Emily? Packing her bags, last I heard. Rumor is she is moving in with her sister in Portland. She cannot show her face in Millbrook after what happened. And Emma? Tommy's expression turned serious. She is confused. Jack? Mad at you for what you did, but also mad at her mother for lying to her. Give her time. I might not have time. My contractor's license is probably gone, and I will be lucky if I do not end up in prison myself. Maybe, but you exposed 2 criminals and saved the lake from being destroyed. That has to count for something. Monday morning brings Agent Patricia Williams from the FBI's white-collar crime unit. She is younger than I expected, probably in her mid-30s, with the kind of sharp intelligence that comes from years of tracking down financial criminals. Mr. Morrison, she says, sitting in the chair in the interrogation room across from me. You have caused quite a stir. I had help. Yes, Mrs. Blackwood has been very cooperative. The evidence she provided is substantial. She opens a thick folder and spreads documents across the table. Bank records, email printouts, transaction summaries, the paper trail of Richard's crimes laid out in black and white. We are looking at embezzlement, fraud, money laundering, bribery of public officials, and conspiracy. Enough charges to put Mr. Blackwood in prison for 20 years. And Emily? His wife was involved in several of the money laundering schemes, but she appears to have been a willing participant rather than a mastermind. She is facing 5 or 10 years, assuming she cooperates. The news should make me happy, but instead I just feel empty. This is what I wanted. Justice, revenge, consequences for their actions. So why do I feel like I have lost something important? And me? I ask. You are a hero, Mr. Morrison. Without your evidence, we would have never caught them. I broke into Richard's apartment. I violated a restraining order. I disrupted a private event. Agent Williams smiles. The funny thing about that is we cannot find any evidence of forced entry, and the restraining order was based on false testimony, so it is invalid. As for the incident at the country club, well, sometimes citizens have to take extraordinary measures to expose criminal activity. So I am free to go. You are free to go. I walk out of the police station into a beautiful April morning. The sun is shining, the air smells like spring, and for the first time in months I feel like I can breathe again. But my freedom comes at a price. Morrison contracted. Even if I keep my license, no one in Millbrook will hire the crazy contractor who destroyed the biggest social event in the town's history. My marriage is over. My daughter hates me, and I am starting from scratch at 45. I am walking towards my truck when I see Emma waiting by the driver's side door. She looks terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, wrinkled clothes, the look of someone who has not slept in days. Dad. We look at each other for a long moment. 2 people who used to be close, but who now feel like strangers. I saw the news, she says finally, about the FBI investigation, the charges against Mom and Richard. I am sorry you had to find out this way. Are you really? Because it seems like you planned this whole thing to hurt as many people as possible. Her words sting, but I cannot deny them. Your mother made her choices, Emma. I just made sure there were consequences. What about me? What about my choices? I believed her, Dad. I defended her against you, and now I look like an idiot. You look like a daughter who loved her mother. There is nothing wrong with that. Emma starts to cry. Not the angry tears from before, but the broken sobs of someone whose world has fallen apart. I do not know who to trust anymore. I do not know what is real and what is lies. My whole life feels like a joke. I want to hold her, to tell her everything will be okay, but I am not sure she would welcome the comfort. Instead, I just stand there, watching my daughter fall apart and knowing I am partly responsible. The truth is real, I say finally. It is ugly and it hurts, but it is real. Your mother had an affair, she stole money, she lied to both of us for months. Those are facts, not opinions. And are you real, or are you just another liar? The question cuts deep because I am not sure of the answer. In the last few months, I have become someone I do not recognize. Vengeful, calculating, willing to destroy everything to get my revenge. Is that the real Jack Morrison, not just a mask I put on to survive this war? No, I admit. I have done things I am not proud of. I have hurt people I care about. Maybe that makes me a liar too. Emma dries her eyes and looks at me with something that might be respect. At least you are honest about it. It is all I have left. We talk for another hour, standing in the police station parking lot, like refugees from our own lives. Emma tells me about the calls from reporters, the social media firestorm, the way her friends at college are treating her like a celebrity because of the viral video. I'm dropping out, she says. I cannot focus on classes, and I cannot afford tuition anyway. Not with Mom's legal bills. You do not have to do that. I will find a way. With what money, Dad? Your business is finished and Mom's assets are frozen pending the investigation. We are broke. She is right, of course. The financial reckoning has just begun. Legal fees, civil suits, the cost of rebuilding our lives from scratch. It is going to take years to recover, if we ever do. Maybe that is not such a bad thing. I say, maybe we needed to lose everything to realize what really matters. And what is that? Family truth. Building something real instead of living a lie. Emma considers this, then nods slowly. I want to help. Help with what? With whatever comes next. I am tired of being a victim of other people's choices. I want to make my own. For the first time in months, I smile without any bitterness. I would like that. We drive home together in my truck. past the construction sites where I used to work, past the real estate office where Emily used to pretend to have a career, past the country club where I burned down 2 lives and probably saved a lake. The house on Maple Street looks smaller than I remember, more rundown. The paint is peeling, the lawn needs to be mowed, and there is a for sale sign in the front yard that I did not put there. Mom listed it before she left, Emma explains. She said she needed the money for legal fees. Probably for the best. Too many bad memories here anyway. Where will you go? I do not know yet. Somewhere I can start over, maybe build something new. Emma gets out of the truck and heads for the front door, then stops and turns back. Dad, I am proud of you. Why? For not giving up. For fighting back. For showing me that sometimes you have to burn it all down to see what is really there. She goes inside, leaving me alone in the driveway of the house I have called home for 15 years. Tomorrow I will begin the process of rebuilding my life, finding a new place to live, figuring out how to make money without a construction business, maybe even leaving Millbrook altogether. But tonight, I just want to sit here and enjoy the quiet satisfaction of a job well done. My phone vibrates with a text message from an unknown number. Saw the video. Impressive work. If you are ever interested in a new career, give me a call. P. Williams, FBI. I laugh out loud. After 25 years of building things, maybe it is time to try tearing them down professionally. Across town, the lights are on at the police station where Richard Blackwat is probably spending his first night in federal custody. Emily's sister's house in Portland is dark, hiding another broken woman trying to figure out how to rebuild her life. And somewhere in the ruins of the Lakeside Country Club's reputation, the lake itself flows clean and undisturbed, saved from destruction by one man's refusal to go quietly into the night. I start the truck and drive away from the house on Maple Street for the last time, heading towards an uncertain future with my daughter by my side and my enemies behind bars. Sometimes the best revenge is just surviving long enough to watch your enemies destroy themselves. Sometimes burning it all down is the only way to let something new grow. Sometimes the villain wins by becoming the hero of his own story. The war is over. The real work starts now.